It's been a while since I've been able to go out on just a leisure ride. Typically the only time I get to ride this thing is when I'm going to work and back. But I have the day off, so everything works out. So today is actually the real first ride with these Magura MT5Es. I think I need to adjust the reach a little bit. I normally like to one finger brake it and use my my regen throttle to slow down. It feels a little far in comparison. Glad my bell still works. The roads here in Southern California are really rough, and I hit a pothole with my Supermoto wheels and busted a spoke in the rear, and I ordered some extra spokes from China, and they supposedly shipped, but I don't know what's gonna happen. I got a phone call from mainland China. I'm assuming it has something to do with those the spokes. We'll see. I'll check the tracking in a couple of days. I did order it like a month ago, but with the whole coronavirus stuff going on, yeah, I don't expect to be using anything other than these 19s for a while. But I do have very street-friendly tires on them. Up front, I'm running the V-Rubber 2.5 by 19 in their trial tires, and then the rear I'm running the 2.75 by 19 Shinkos, and yeah, it's pretty smooth, not too loud in comparison. I do like the bike's height with the 19s, but the handling is definitely not as good. The bike feels like a boat, especially at the front end. What I do like about having these tires on is I get to ride in the dirt a little more. Look at that bird. I definitely feel a lot more confident riding on dirt. Yeah, part of me just wants to keep the 19s on. I mean, they look better, but I don't know, for commuting it's just less than optimal, especially when you're on asphalt 99% of the time. new asphalt. It's always nice. I'm not digging all these cars. But yeah, I guess somewhere along this ride I'll hop off the bike and do a little walk around and explain what I got going on this thing. I know a lot of people have questions, and my endless sphere thread is not the most up to date. Tax dollars hard at work. But yeah, I'm still adjusting to getting used to these 19s, because like I had no problem like coming into corners really hot with the Supermoto set. But these ones just, you know, aren't very confidence inspiring. But yeah, it's just good to get out and ride without any destination, really. Man, I feel like I'm lost. There's a lake around here I'm trying to get to. Well, not really a lake. You could call it a lake, but it's really a farm pond. I feel like I'm going back in the direction I came from. Let's see. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I just went in a circle. Alright. Take two. Instead of turning right, I turned right here. That took me in a little circle. Oh, here we go. Kind of sad. I grew up in this neighborhood, but don't know where I'm going. Well, let's talk about the Sur Ron. I mean, it gets marketed a lot as if it's an e-bike, but the reality is it's a motorcycle or a dirt bike. Same shit. But it does have mountain bike components, and I mean, pros and cons to everything. You end up with a 120-pound bike, which is super light for a motorcycle. But I mean, like when it comes to like brake performance, it is like garbage. There's a lake. Like I mean, I've been like looking for the longest time to see if it's possible to just throw on like, you know, like a pit bike or a dirt bike fork. You know, something that's bolt-in that I can do at home without having to make any custom shims or any custom hardware just to get that to work. Simply because, I mean, more so for the brakes. Right now, my regen braking is like 90% of my braking, and especially if you're cruising like above 50 miles per hour, I don't think there's any mountain bike brake that cuts it when you're riding something that's, you know, 120 pounds plus rider weight. I wish this guy was going faster. Going behind me. Let's do a U-turn. I like going right in through here. It's fun. It's more fun on the Supermoto wheel set. And that person just straight up lost. I mean, there have been times when I've pushed the bike really hard and I've hit the cutout where you need to power cycle it, and my only stopping power is the mechanical brakes. And I've only ridden with these MT5Es for yeah, 4.9 miles, and I can already, you know, tell you that I mean, as much of an upgrade as they are to the factory brakes, they're just not up to par for the weight of this bike. All right, what is that? What is that? Maybe we can catch up to it. Guys, going at a chilling pace. Yeah, so I'm really curious what Cleveland Cycle Works is going to come out with. Oh man, am I on the sensor? Because it seems like they're trying to build a bike that's in between the CSC City Slicker and the Zero FX in terms of cost and performance. So you have like the City Slicker, which is, you know, in reality like $3,000 out the door, maybe a little more after taxes and stuff. And man, I'm about to just turn right. Yeah, we'll see where this guy goes. I'll just turn right. So yeah, so you have the City Slicker, which is about $3,000, and you know, they say it tops out at 46 miles an hour, and right now I'm already like going, you know, a little over 50, and yeah, 46 just doesn't cut it for suburban riding. I mean, sure, you can probably get away with it in an actual city where you know, no cars are going past 50, but I mean, you're really limited on where you can use that bike. And then you have the Zero FX, and you know, you get the base model 3.6, and you only have like a 20-mile usable range. So that's just garbage. You got to shell out the extra, you know, $2,000 and get the 7.2, and then you're over $10,000 right there. Yeah, you know, they try to say, oh yeah, you get the federal tax benefits and whatever the state gives you back, but man, that's a big difference. I mean, you're paying literally 3 times as much for double the performance, I'd say. So I mean, there's really no bike in existence yet that fills in that gap in between. And you know, I've been tempted, oh, maybe I should just sell this bike and pick up a city slicker, strip it down, swap out the controller, and go with a custom, like maybe like a 90 amp hour battery, and get something with like a 50-mile range at 50 miles an hour. That'd be pretty awesome. But you know, just having to start over doesn't really appeal to me. I mean, I've already gone a long road with this bike. This is like my third battery setup. You know, I have gone through multiple controllers, displays, and you know, right now I do like it where it's at. You know, with the clip-ons, I like the way it rides. It looks good. But yeah, I guess a big issue is like, especially in the US, is being street legal, because this bike from Luna doesn't come with any certificate of origin or a VIN number. It just has a serial number. So if the state allows you to register it as a moped, you're very lucky. So I'm lucky to be in California where they allow you to do that without having a VIN number. But yeah, there are definitely certain rules there that not everyone is too clear on. I mean, I did all the lighting on this bike. I got blinkers, brake lights, everything, and you know, I actually looked up like the CVC requirements, California Vehicle Code requirements. But like the big gray area is like the top speed, because like sure, when you actually purchase one, it's not supposed to go faster than 30 miles an hour out of the box. And you know, the way people have been justifying it with these bikes is in eco mode, you can't go that fast. So in eco mode, if you do have a brake light, then you are meeting all the requirements. But yeah, it really depends on the traffic cop, because I know like for a lot of people like in South Orange County, when they're riding around in their China doll beach cruisers with their 50cc motors making all sorts of noise, they're getting their bikes impounded left and right when they're like cruising down the road at like 45 miles an hour. Yeah, but I think the cops are just doing it more because they're a nuisance rather than you know, rather than really enforcing any type of vehicle law. I think they're just writing that one down, because most of those beach cruisers, they're not wired up with lights, horns, mirrors, or anything, and they're riding on sidewalks on top of that. So yeah, I could totally get it if our traffic cop, I saw a Sur Ron all plated out with lights, just riding like a regular motorcycle, you know, I wouldn't bat an eye. But I see this you know, 50cc China doll beach cruiser just making all sorts of noise on the sidewalk. Yeah, and you know, businesses and neighbors complaining. Yeah, I would definitely definitely do something about that. Picks up speed so quickly, it's great. Riding a 125cc for a little bit, oh man, I was dying. It was not good. Super stressful. But yeah, then the whole issue comes with insurance. So I am insured with Esurance, and when they did I mean, you can't get insurance online because you don't have like an actual VIN number, and if you try to fill in the other 2 digits off the you know, you have a 15-digit serial number. If you try to just throw in like SN in front, it's not gonna work out. So you're gonna actually have to talk to a customer service rep, and they'll input everything manually. You send them all the info, photos, and all that, and everything's good to go. The only issue is, I know some people who have had issues making claims, like if the bike is stolen or it's crashed, because there is, oh, there's a zero up there, because there is no no certificate of origin, no VIN number. They've had insurance companies refuse to pay out. So like, I have full coverage. I'm paying like $300 a year. You know, that covers theft, you know, all sorts of stuff. And I'm just thinking about dropping it down to liability, because, you know, what's the point of paying all that money, you know, when you can pay literally a quarter of that to still be, you know, street legal. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I got to renew in a couple months here. I actually transferred the insurance from another e-bike that I had plated the year prior. So, yeah, it wasn't that difficult for me. Yeah, so like, getting back to the whole suburban traffic thing, I mean, this is Beach Boulevard. It's a pretty fast road. Like, you'll see people, you know, drive up to 65 regularly on this road. And this is no place you want to be, like, on a city slicker. Sure, like that Zero that we saw earlier, they're gonna be fine. I mean, this is where it's gonna be at home. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of pros and cons to this bike. I mean, yeah, mountain bike parts, pros and cons. You got lightweight, but the problem with that is, like, most of the parts are designed for a much lighter chassis. So like, you know, going over the modifications, I actually put a RockShox Domain dual crown extra firm spring in this left leg here, because the factory spring in it would just stay stuck in the compressed position. It was really interesting. Like, I'd get on the bike, and whenever I got off, like, the fork would just still be stuck all compressed down. So I had read on Atmosphere that, you know, it's the fork is a clone of the Domain, and that the spring should work, and, you know, there's some, you know, slight modifications that you do need to do. And yeah, I did it, and it worked out great. Like, look at this guy, he's going fast as hell. Look at that. Pick up the pace here, and I'm going 60. 65, just cruising it. I'm not going full throttle. Probably like half throttle at 65. But yeah, there's not a lot of bikes that can do this. So I'm really hoping that the Cleveland Cycle Works bike really pans out. But I have a feeling that it's going to be more expensive than they anticipate. And when you look at the, you know what? Let's go straight. I want to see what bike that is. When you look at the CCW for, you know, $3 out the door, you put in your 90 amp hour battery. That 90 amp hour battery is going to be like $5 grand. Yeah, look at this. So regular suburban street, just cruising it at 50. What still gets me about this bike is its just lack of range. I mean, right now, like, I'm not wearing a backpack, I'm not carrying my charger, so if I go outside of like a 15-mile radius, I'm gonna be in a bad spot. So right now I'm kind of just doing like a big circle around my house. I'm at 10 miles on this trip.
Boulevard is really smooth. Like the only instability I'm getting from these tires is the knobs. Yeah, I'm not gonna catch it for that guy. I'll probably turn left at the next light. Big ol' Harley. Oh, that's a really classy rear window decal on that Mercedes. It says Mercedes. Oh yeah, you go Mustang. Yeah, these the steering damper works great. It does block the keyhole though, but I'm sure there's an easy way to install it without. You could probably use another one of these silver spacers over here and a longer bolt to give clearance for the key. But yeah, my eco mode is this switch right here, which I rarely ever turn on. Sometimes I have a little passenger up front, maybe I'll, run around the neighborhood. I'll turn it on then. Oh, look at, yeah, rock and roll. So fast. GT so fast. Oh yeah. Cut off the bike. We are doing 50 and a 40, so I'll be dialing back. I guess the big question is, if I could start over, would I do it again? Oh man, that is a hard question to answer. I mean, I would say with the amount of times I've been tempted on selling this thing, that might be a no. But at the same time, just getting out here and riding it like this, aimlessly, it is therapeutic and freeing. I just love being on two wheels. There are times when I'm like, oh, you know what? Even if I take a big loss on this bike, I could pick up, an internal combustion
bike, you know, an ice bike for whatever I get for it, that would be pretty decent, and just ride that. But what always stops me is like, oh yeah, there's oil changes, you gotta adjust the valves, you know, you gotta get gas, you gotta change out the fluids, you know. There's just a lot more parts on a ice bike, and you know, the grass is always greener on the other side. This Mustang is, I guess they're test driving. Must have done a U-turn. I mean, on the ice bike, it's like what's always drawing me towards it is just the range. It's like, oh, like even on a Grom, you know, you can go 100 miles. Versus with this bike, you know, you got to really think, you got to really plan out your trip, because it's like, are you gonna do a round trip, or are you gonna get to your destination and charge? And then it's like, if you're running the bike hard, you can't even charge right away because the battery's too hot. So like with, you know, an internal combustion bike, you know, all you got to do is just spend 5 minutes at the gas station, and then you're ready to go another, you know, 100, 150, 200 miles depending on your capacity. And but yeah, you know, there's the whole issue of all the maintenance that's required to upkeep it. And you know, it's not that bad, especially if you've owned one and you do all the stuff yourself, or you know, even if you just take it to a shop or the dealership and have them handle it for you, all the routine maintenance. But man, it is really nice just you know, how simple the electric motors are. I mean, these DC motors, it's just magnets and copper. You know, it doesn't get much simpler than that, and you're just running current through it. You know, there's no adjusting of anything that really needs to be done once you have your tune down. Time for me to wrap things up. Got other things to do today. Well, I wanted to get off the bike and do a walk around and go over the modifications. I don't think that's gonna happen. What? 72 volts, 40% of battery left. That is great. G-E-A-R-T. So yeah, I guess you know, for those of you watching this and are deciding whether or not you want to pick one up, just understand that my bike is highly modified. You're not going to be like, I'm like barely throttling it, and I'm going at the top speed the factory bike would be going. So it's not going to ride like this. If you're going to keep it strictly for off-road, then you know, it's probably good the way it is, unless you're doing jumps. Then, you know, the state-of-the-art bottom-tier DNM suspension or RST killer for it, and that just a piece of crap DNM or fast-ace rear shock is probably not going to cut it for you, especially if you come from an off-roading background. But I mean, you know, if it's just like a shits and giggles type bike, then it's pretty good out of the box. But to actually get it like suburban ready, it does require a lot of work. I mean, definitely a controller and battery upgrade, and yeah, you could probably recoup maybe like $1,500 from the stock battery, charger, and controller, you know, at best if it's used. If it's a brand new takeoff, maybe a little more, but yeah, then you're dropping like, you know, another $2,000 on a new battery, a 72 volt battery, and another charger. Then I don't even know how much these controllers are going for these days, but
you gotta, I mean, the availability is also what's very what hurts a lot of people, especially the impatient ones, because like when you look at I mean, I'm running the ERT controller, and right now, I mean, you know, just production is backlogged from the manufacturer. It has nothing to do with ERT. So like a lot of people you'll see on the forums, like they're complaining about, oh, I ordered my shit 2 months ago, and you know, I haven't seen it. And you know, just people complaining about not having their shit. And you know, Alan over at ERT is like, well, you know, I'm waiting for it. Like, and you know, he would be doing customer service all day, and all he was doing was just responding to these emails. And then you know, I'm sure, you know, there are people out there that say, oh, there are other business practices you can do. I mean, I think like you know, nuclear controllers. From what I understand, they also have a plug and play kit, but their backlog is like 4 months as well. So, but they don't charge you apparently until they're ready to ship. Yeah, I love the power. Never go back. Love the regen braking, and this dude's totally checking out my bike. Kind of back to where we started. If I was gonna do a walk around, I'd probably do it in this dirt lot here, but I got places to be, which sucks. But you know what? I got out there for like a good 15-mile ride, which is great. Man, you know, it's very refreshing. The weather is like perfect. You know, there's these moms walking with their dogs. Got these dudes mountain biking. Actually, you know what? I should have went mountain biking. Fuck the Sur Ron. No, just kidding. Yeah, battery's good. Chris from Lightspeed Bikes, actually, he ordered his own Sur Ron, and yeah, I'm actually really curious on what kind of batteries he's going to be building now. Because right now, like, mine's like stock form factor, 20S 10P, like 20 in the series, 10 parallel, 30 amp hours. You know, I would say capacity wise, it's very similar to the stock battery if you're going to be riding it in the same style in terms of range. And yeah, like once he gets a bike, and you know, he can make adapters to lift the battery cover and just fit more battery in there, things are really gonna take off. I know he's built bigger and taller batteries, but you know, he's just kind of guesstimating the measurements. And you know, I've seen photos and it looks kind of weird with the battery sticking out of the bike. But you know, sometimes if you want to go twice the distance, you gotta look a little weird. But yeah, I mean, this front brake, now that I've ridden it 15 miles, this does feel a bit better. But yeah, it's still no motorcycle brake. I mean, even like the factory brakes on like a Z125 or Grom just feels so much better. And that's it for now. Yeah, I'll do my best on trying to update my Endless Sphere thread, but it does take quite a bit of time.